Hi everybody, and welcome to Mrs. Wilson's Kitchen. Let's bake something today. Okay, I keep my recipes down in here. This is one of many areas I have my recipes. Here it is. Today we are going to make thunder cake. Watch carefully and see if you can spy the secret ingredient that I put in thunder cake. The district's online lesson can be found on the county website at hcboe.net. Today's story is Thunder Cake, and you could find many copies of it on YouTube. In the story, a grandmother tells her granddaughter that it is perfect thunder cake baking weather. As the storm builds up, the two work on baking the cake. They must hurry because the cake needs to be in the oven before the storm has ended. What a perfect distraction from a scary storm. Let's look at some vocabulary that will help you read and understand the story. Horizon, the line in the distance where the sky and the earth seem to meet. So it's that imaginary line. Surveyed, a careful examination of the land, or a set of questions you asked a group of people. Dry shed, a simple structure used for storage. So this barn is a dry shed. Sultry, hot and humid. Makes me think of a hot and humid, sultry summer day. Scurried, to walk hurriedly. I think of quickly. Look at this hamster. Luscious, something that is delicious and juicy. This luscious tomato. Squinted, to squeeze your eyelids tight so you can see something better. Trellis, a framework made from wood or iron used to support climbing plants or fruit trees. Notice it's made of iron in this picture. Beamed, to smile in a very happy way. Or it's a light that is shined brightly. Glistening, when something shines and looks wet and oily. Look, these icicles are glistening. They're shiny. Overcome, to succeed in dealing with a problem, defeat, prevail. One activity you can do with our vocabulary words is to pick one. I'll quickly go back over them. Take your paper and divide it into 4. You could label it definition, sentence, synonyms, and illustration. I chose the word from our story, path. The definition of path is pathway or a road you travel on, typically on foot. Synonyms are words that are similar or have a related meaning. So a path is like a small road, or you could say it's a trail. My sentence, we walk slowly down a rocky path. And then here's my illustration for my sentence. Another activity I could do with this story is to write about it. Think about story elements. Think about who the characters were. There was the little girl. There was Grandma. Think about the setting. Where and when did the story take place? Well, it happened on a farm. It happened before and during a thunderstorm. Can you think and write about a sentence about the conflict? What was the problem the little girl had? And then think about the solution. How did Grandma help her solve her problem? In your writing, also think about the sequence of events, retelling the story events in order that they happen. Don't forget to use first, next, then, finally. Another activity is to look at the grammar in the sentences of the story. Okay? Remember, a noun is a person, a place, or a thing. And a verb is a word used to describe an action. Remember, it shows action, what that noun is doing. Okay, an adjective describes a noun or a pronoun. Okay, one way to identify it, if it's an adjective, is does it answer these questions? What kind? How many? Which? An adverb describes verbs. It will tell you how, when, or where. Okay, so let's look at some sentences in Thunder Cake. I reached for 3 luscious tomatoes while she picked strawberries. Okay, in this sentence, I notice a noun, tomatoes. Okay, and then I could think of my questions for adjectives. Does it describe my noun tomato? Does it tell me what kind, how many, or which? I reached for 3 luscious tomatoes. Well, 3 tells me how many tomatoes, so I know 3 is an adjective describing it. I abbreviate adjective by ADJ, period. I reached for 3 luscious tomatoes. Well, it's telling me luscious is telling me, well, what kind of tomatoes? And they were luscious tomatoes. So I can label that as an adjective also. You can have more than one adjective describing your noun. My second sentence says, let's find that recipe, child, she crowed as she lovingly fingered the grease-stained pages. I noticed the word fingered, and that just means she touched. So she fingered, so that would be a verb. Okay. And let's look again at our adverb. It says it tells how, tells when, or tells where. She lovingly fingered. Well, lovingly would tell me how she fingered it, how she touched it. So that is an adverb. And I abbreviate adverbs ADV, period. Hey, but I noticed something else in this sentence. The grease-stained pages. Well, pages is a noun. And grease-stained pages is telling me what kind of pages she touched. So grease-stained must be an adjective describing those pages. Okay, so now I want you to get your piece of paper and I want you to rewrite our vocabulary sentence that I wrote. We walked slowly down a rocky path. And can you find an adjective and an adverb in this sentence? So go ahead and label, find your noun, and ask yourself what kind, how many, which, and label your adjective. Find your verb, and then ask how, when, where, and then label your adverb. Then you could do this activity with other sentences within the story. Okay, so that's all for today. Love everyone, miss you guys, and hopefully you might make your own thunder cake. Secret ingredient, tomatoes. Bye-bye.